All right, today we want to look at inequalities in quadratic expression or quadratic inequalities. All right, so let's see how it's being approached. First, we have to apply the knowledge of normal equation. So this is y squared minus 3y. Carry 18 this way become the plus become minus 18. Here will not be greater than 0. Then you will now factorize using factorization method. Okay. Now, this is y squared. So y times y will give us y squared. So one will be here, one will be here. Now, the two numbers will multiply to get 18 is 6 and 3. 6 times 3 will give us 18. 9 times 2 will still give us 18. But for you to pick the right one here, you must consider when you add, when you use it to times this, use to times this, when you add, the one that will give you this. Okay, so it's 6 and 3 that will do. But here we have minus. So the two signs that we are going to multiply to give us minus is minus times plus. So meaning one of these will carry minus, one will carry plus. But how do you now know the one that will carry minus and the one that will carry plus? Look at the sign you have here. The sign you have here will be the one you put at the back of the bigger number. Since we have minus here, the bigger number here will carry the minus sign. As it is now, this is the bigger number. But not in every case. Let's say, for instance, I have 3y here and I have y here. In this case, if I'm looking for the bigger number out of these two, this would have been the bigger number. Because if I use to times, I'll be having 9y. If I use to times, I'll be having 6y. So in that case, I want to consider put the minus and plus. Now here will not carry the minus, since I have minus here. But because it is 1 that I have, y that I have. So yes, this is the bigger number. So this will carry minus, this will carry plus. Minus times plus is minus. 6 times 3 is 18. So we have minus 18. Minus 6y plus 3y will give us minus 3y. Then y times y is y squared. That is the check. So now we'll now pick this as the factor like this. So we'll now have y minus 6 and y plus 3 is greater than 0. All right. So in your normal equation, you now have if y minus 6 is equals to 0, so your y is equals to 6. If y plus 3 is equals to 0, your y is equals to minus 3. Okay. Now, just pause the video before I conclude. Just pause the video and tell me from the options here which you think that will be the answer, at least from your knowledge that you have so far and the knowledge you have. Tell me which of these now will be the correct answer. Just comment on it before you replay so that you see the conclusion and see whether you are right. Okay, so that is it. So let's continue. I hope you have done that. Fine, let us continue. So now we will now have, now when you have cases like this, all you need to do is to draw a number line. You don't solve this like normal equation sign. Okay, don't solve like normal equation sign. So you have a number line. Here will now be 0. All right. So here you have minus 3 here. Now anything from 0 here is positive infinity. Anything from 0 this way is negative infinity. So now you have minus 3. So here will be minus 3. Now you have 6. So here will now be 6. All right. So now this is positive, this is negative. Now, before you now know the range of values of y in this inequality, come now, when you see something like now, these are your factor. It means that anything you have here, bracket means times, anything you have here, if you times it to anything you have here, the thing that you are going to get is going to be bigger than, because say this times this is greater than 0. So that's supposed to give you a positive value. And that is greater than 0 is supposed to give you a positive value. So because of that, we are not going to consider numbers this way first. You have 4 sections to consider: number that is lesser than minus 3, number that is between minus 3 and 6, the number that is greater than 6, and see when that we have that positive. Let's choose the first number that is let's choose a number that is greater than minus 3. Choose any number, that is lesser than minus 3. You have minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. Any of those numbers is lesser than minus 3. So you took anyone. So let's take anyone. Let's take minus 4. It means that our y is minus 4. If y is minus 4, if I put minus 4 here, minus 4 minus 6 will give us minus 10. Minus 4 plus 3 will give us minus 1. All right. So now, minus 1 minus 10 minus times minus will now give us plus. So which means here will be positive. So what I did just now. Now, the number here, I choose minus 4. There are many numbers here, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. And now assume that this is now y. That if y is minus 4, if I put minus 4 here, minus 4 minus 6 will give us minus 10. So I'll be having minus 4 plus 3 will give us minus 1. I'll be having minus 10 minus 1. Minus times minus will now give us plus. And plus is greater than 0. So that is why the number that will be having here, if you still choose minus 5, you get the same positive. So the number we have here will be positive. Now let's choose between minus 3 and 6. You can take minus 1, you can take you can take minus 2, you can take minus 1, you can take 0, you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, any number here. But let's just choose 0. Anyone you choose will give you the same answer. Let's choose 0. So let's put 0 here. 0 minus 6 will give us minus 6. 0 plus 3 will give us what? Will give us plus 3. So here will be plus. Now it will not be minus times plus will now give us minus, and minus is less than 0, but what we need is supposed to be greater than 0, so which means anything we have here will be minus, or here will be minus, as the case may be. Now let's come to number now greater than 6. Let's take the first number now, which will be 7. So let's put 7 here. 7 minus 6 is 1. 1, that is positive. 7 plus 3 is 10, which is also positive. And plus times plus is plus, and plus is greater than 0, which means here will be plus. So in that case, because the number that we need must be greater than 0, so you need the positive answer. So because you need the positive answer, so what will not be your answer? You are picking number here, which means, and what are the number here? The number here, the number that are what? That are lesser than minus 3. So number here will be y is lesser than minus 3. All the numbers here, they are lesser than minus 3. So we have positive. So that is one of the answer for y. The next number will be greater than 6. Here you have positive. So which means that y is greater than 6. Now, a number cannot be less than minus 3 and be greater than 6. So you cannot use and in this case. So in this case, we are going to say y is greater than 6 or y is lesser than minus 3, because a number cannot be greater than 6 and lesser than minus 3. So you now use or in that regard. So in this case now, what do you think is the option now? Here you have y. This one is y is greater than minus 3 and y is less than 6. That is not the answer. This is y is lesser than minus 3, which is what you have here, or y is greater than 6. So automatically B is the answer. I hope that is clear. So thank you for watching.